Are you ready?
Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched the December 7th, 1997 edition of Degeneration X in your house. And the match card is as follows. In our opening contest, we have Taka Michinoku taking on Brian Christopher for the first ever light heavyweight champion. We have Los Boricuas taking on the Disciples of the Apocalypse in a six-man tag. Mark Miro is taking on Butterbean in a tough man match, which is part boxing match, part wrestling match, sort of.
It was something.
Right. The New Age Outlaws defend the tag team championships against the Legion of Doom. Hunter Hearst Helmsley takes on Sergeant Slaughter in a boot camp match. Jeff Jarrett makes his in-ring re-debut against The Undertaker. Stone Cold Steve Austin defends the Intercontinental Championship against The Rock, and Ken Shamrock vies for the WWF Championship against Shawn Michaels. That was a lot. There was a lot of matches. Eight of them to be exact. So buckle
Eight.
in. You know how this goes. If there's Kelsey said it best. If there's what is it, like 2 hours of wrestling, we talk for, or 45 minutes of wrestling, we talk for 2 hours.
2 hours.
So
I said there's something about like pasta doubles and rice triples, and all I know is that we are rice.
that is so correct.
That's all I know.
No,
What I don't know is
honestly.
what's happened the last few weeks on Raw because Netflix decided to play with me.
So here, great segue.
I don't like that.
No, and I have to fill in a couple of gaps for people. Again, as we know, in the great transfer of 2025, and with the advent of Raw on Netflix, well, I'm enjoying watching live. I just wish I had the rest of the content.
Because when
So,
we'll get to it, but when they show you like what you missed on Glee,
mm-hmm,
I was like, these are like iconic moments that even I know about, which
right.
I am hashtag new to wrestling. I don't know anything. And even I know some of the moments that they showed, and I was like, oh, so we're not even putting those up? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
happening here?
I would really
I
love to
hate
go
that.
into like what is the rationale of like picking and
What
choosing.
makes it? Yeah.
Right, and what doesn't, considering lots didn't make it. But to fill in some gaps, we missed about 3 weeks since our last like actual episode of Raw. Also, big shout out to y'all for supporting our whole kind of saga on Survivor Series 1997 and the Montreal screw job of it all. Um, this episode is coming after part two of After Dark, so you have now gone through the entire saga with us. Thank you. This was a big moment for the show. But
Yeah.
since our last actual episode of Monday Night Raw, we had the November 17th episode, the November 24th episode, and the December 1st. I've taken the liberty of just going through reading the synopses to just grab some of the major highlights before we get into the nitty gritty of this pay per view. So we have the Brett Screwed Brett promo, which obviously the birth of the Mr. McMahon character from there. We have the infamous Rick Rude shows up on both WCW Nitro as well as Monday Night Raw at the same time. As we know, Raw was sometimes taping their shows, sometimes doing it live. So
That's fierce, actually.
yeah, so he ends up on both shows same night. First and only time I believe that happens. Neidhart also goes to WCW as in the great protest of 1997. Obviously, he was going to go along with his former tag team partner slash brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law. Makes sense.
So Jeff Jarrett makes his was going to make his in-ring debut against one of the Disciples of the Apocalypse, decided that wasn't high enough on his pecking order. The whole new shtick with Jeff Jarrett is that he's really high on his own supply, and he wanted somebody a little higher up on the card. Which is, assuming how we end up on this Undertaker Jeff Jarrett match.
Mm.
Goldust is slowly descending into absolute madness. He starts referring to himself as the artist formerly known as Goldust, and really takes the Goldust character really limitless. He really just says, "There's nothing I won't wear, won't do,
Won't say, won't
right,
read aloud on a
right."
pay-per-view.
And we also see the debut of Luna Vachon. She is the daughter of Mad Dog Vachon, classic villain of the 80s. Yeah, yeah. And then apparently Crush has also made his last appearance in the WWF. I don't really know what the story behind that is. I'll be honest, didn't super look. If that was part of the great protest of 1997, or if it was just he had been with the company for a very long time and wanted bigger dollars at WCW or to slow down. So I do know that he will eventually make his way back in about like 4 years' time. So
All right.
guess we'll see Crush in a little bit.
I was gonna make a pun, but I'm gonna refrain.
Thank you. No, I'm kidding.
I know that puns are like, if you can make puns, it's like a sign of intelligence or something, but I normally am not a fan. But I was going to say, I'm not particularly crushed to see him gone.
Yeah, I don't care that much. It's fine. I like him fine. I think he works fine. I just wasn't super invested in any of the iterations that we have seen.
No, and he's a good wrestler, very good looking, but it's not make or break for me.
Oh, wrong. I get it. See you, Crush.
Bye.
So those are like some of the main highlights. But let's get into this pay-per-view because again, there's 8 matches. 8 of them.
When I tell you, we went from 0 to 100. Like,
right.
I was like, oh, we're like easing our way into the Attitude Era, la la la. Girl, suddenly they turn the volume up to 11, and it's just sex, the police, moaning, strippers, like protests. Like it's
fully
immediately went like through the roof. They were like, Brett's gone. Like
it literally felt like Dad left, and like now literally it's just like, oh, like we can go ball to the wall, nothing matters.
It feels like they finally, like when your parents drop you off at college and then they leave and you just go ballistic. Yeah. Or like even if they just leave the house and you're alone for the first time when you're like a teenager and you just for some reason do the most weird like fuck shittery because you're alone.
Right.
It's what it's giving. It's what it's giving.
So we're treated to what I described as the most porny pay-per-view intro ever. Absolutely wild. It's really just the formation of DX, the new kind of attitude, all sprinkled like throughout, like when like they'll be like Triple H, and then like it'll just be this porny voice that like comes in, he's like Triple X, and we're like, oh yeah, no, we get it.
They might have they basically just undercut it with Bam Chicka Wow Wow.
No, fully.
That was fully it.
That. It was
giving that. Like what did we I was talking about there's a new movie on Apple TV called The Gorge. I didn't watch it yet, but we were joking that The Gorge is such a crazy name, and then we were joking it's like The Gorge 3 on VHS at your local and then we were going like The Gap, The Gape, like we were taking it too far, so but they literally said like Triple X the sequel undercut with so much moaning.
No, 100%. And literally the whole promo ends when it's just that voice and it's like, degenerate me. And you're like,
degenerate me?
Like,
what does that even mean?
I thought that was the plot of the Poof Point. I don't know what this is. Like,
I thought that was when we turn the phasers to kill instead of stun and I get atomized.
No,
like,
that
degenerate me.
Crazy.
But then also, It's kind of like that thing where it's like there's overwhelmed and underwhelmed, but is there just whelmed? It's like, are you also generating me?
Right, 100%.
And just the degenerate me.
Right.
What?
Like, where are we going with this?
Is it? Oh my God, it was shocking. We literally cackled because I was
No.
just not expecting that in the slightest. And
We
my
should have
mouth,
been, and honestly,
you know what? You're right. That's my bad. And
uh,
that's my bad. But
it's
now
crazy.
you know better, you do better.
Right, we're here to learn, after all.
I just know I have to like, I don't know, put on the R rating every time I watch
No,
this.
100%. From here on out, you start getting those like memes where it's just like, oh, like every time like my parents walk in the room and like wrestling's on and like some fuck shit is happening. Like and that you can't explain. And like
It's
this is I
always
feel like the
that.
start of that. Because like now like the heinousness, like can you imagine like
I'm just realizing that this
you're
is
like a whatever teenager, what like you're trying to watch wrestling, and all of a sudden, like the intro's just like and you're like, you have to explain that, like literally.
oh my, you guys. I
Right.
never thought about this. I'm sorry. That's just my ignorance of
Isn't
being
that
new to wrestling. I
crazy?
never thought of that. That it's literally
Crazy.
going, degenerate me.
Right. It's
And
like
you're
a
in your
whole
parents'
thing.
house.
Right. Like, you
I
know what
hope
I
some of
mean?
y'all had that TV in the basement. Like because
Hmm.
there is no way
No.
we had like one family TV in my house. There is no way. There
No
is
way.
no way I was watching Miss Attitude Era.
No. No, not back when it was not when
And
it was
you know
on.
my parents. There's
That's
no way.
that's what I'm saying.
There is no way. Wow, you know what? God bless you guys. You made it. You did
Right.
it.
Right.
Survived.
Amen.
Impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's so funny.
So, speaking of impressive, most of these matches were pretty good, guys. Not gonna lie. Like a lot of
I
them, they had a story that made sense for the most
yes.
part. There was like actual wrestling. There was time given. There was
Love.
lots of, chicanery, as
Stunts.
is, with the Attitude Era, but it made sense. I wasn't
It's
like appalled by it.
no, me either. I was shocked by how many matches I loved, and then there was one, and I'm curious if you felt the same way, and we'll get there, that I was like shocked that I wasn't that impressed by.
Okay. Sure.
But not impressed, but I was like, this is actually like, I think there were better matches on this card, and I was not
Hmm.
expecting that.
Right.
But this was great. The first match, the opening match was incredible.
Yeah, so we have Brian Christopher taking on Taka Michinoku in the light heavyweight championship tournament finals. If you didn't watch any of the tournament, you kind of could have guessed that it was
Easy.
going to be these two, pretty much the entire time. They're really the only ones that are uh like repeat visitors on WWF television as far as the light heavyweight division is concerned. Pretty much
Yeah.
everyone else in that tournament was like a new
Hello.
name or just somebody from clearly another organization. So it was just like this is not
It was
I just
obvious.
there's still I still think we're in the very early phases of building up this division. So like maybe
For
this
sure.
was a premature, but here we are. We're here now.
Yeah,
Um
I was not shocked by how that this came to be the people fighting for the tournament, but I kind of agree. I think it was a little premature, and I kind of wish they waited until there were more established
people like more just
contenders.
yeah, exactly. Like make it
You're
a
like
little
you're
bit more
introducing
interesting.
me, yeah, introducing me to people for the first time, and they're in like the tournament to be the champion. Like I don't know about that, but
Right.
whatever.
So uh we're gonna run down the notes I got. All right, so first one, which me and Kelsey had a good giggle about. The first we're like watching the match, like it's fine. And Kelsey just goes, I know he's terrible, but Brian Christopher's ass. And I literally was like, I stopped and I
Pause.
was just like, my first note already written goes, Brian Christopher's ass, the only redeeming quality about him. And I just like, we're so in sync. Like, it's
Disgusting.
crazy and absolutely vile. Yeah, that too.
I was like, the two of us are just buckets of sludge. I mean, but
Buckets
also
of
the way
sludge.
this happens all the time, where I'll be like, so XYZ, and you'll be like, that's literally what I just wrote. But
I
this one
love.
specifically was really funny, like,
Yeah, we're really on our bullshit. In case any of you haven't noticed.
in case
So
any of you ever doubted.
no, yeah, back on, never left.
Mm.
What was the thing that Triple H said when he got like best hair?
See it, wish you had it, eat your heart out.
Okay, perfect.
One of my
Um,
favorite things of all time that ever
no,
happened.
absolutely amazing. Some highlights from the match. We got that crazy springboard plancha from Taka.
Psycho.
Oh my God, I know. Brian Christopher gets his lip busted from
On the
jumping. I
guardrail.
know, crazy, crazy guy. He starts bleeding from the mouth for the remainder of the match. He's out
Oof.
here like rubbing the blood on Taka. Crazy. Taka, we are swinging DDT, followed by again one of the most beautiful springboard moonsaults I've ever seen.
Mm.
Crazy. I have a note that just says King equals dance mom, and I think if you were to hear him on commentary, you'd get it. Um,
Oh my
because
God.
me and the homies, aka my roommates, have been really into the just watching like there's like a channel that we have on our TV that just has dance moms on like all of the time.
I
And it
love
just
that.
gives this energy because they're like literally like they sign their children up to like watch them get abused by this lady who's
Mm.
teaching them dance. And then they sit in the room like literally right next door and they're like I can't believe like we just like keep doing this. Like, and it's just like, girl, you never learn. And it just kind of felt like that because he's just like, one, won't claim him as his child, and then two,
Relentlessly won't claim
like,
him.
won't actually like allow him to like be an adult and like handle his own. Like he's got to go check on him. He's like, oh my God, like let me get out there. I was like, maybe he'd have an easier time getting over with anybody, even as a bad guy, if you weren't sticking your nose in it every single time. I'm so bored of this because it's like, are we going anywhere with it or are we not going anywhere with it? Because it's been like a year now. And
The
like,
gimmick is old. Even if it's only been 6 months, it's felt like a year, and it's
mhm.
just so played out now. Like I don't know how. Like a few episodes, sure, one pay-per-view maybe where we're still pretending that that's not your biological child, but like you literally going, stop saying he's my son, he's not, when we already know that he is. Like it's
It's so
old.
annoying.
Please, it's old like you. Please
A letter
just
from all of us. I'm just assuming you all agree with us if you're listening to us.
you guys know. I mean, it's like, and if you're, again, if you're gonna do the father son like dance moms thing, which I love that analogy, that metaphor, that's 100% spot on,
Thank you.
then commit, like
Right,
commit
right.
and be so into it. I love that. I like, you could really go crazy with that, or just again, refute the allegations, completely back off and let him do his own thing, but pick
Right.
a lane, girl.
Right. Yeah, have it both ways. Just saying.
Yeah.
Um, Brian Christopher slapped the shit out of Taka.
Slapped the shit twice. Like first
Yeah.
he did it and we were like, whoa.
And
Even
then
like
he
on
came back.
commentary, they were like, hello. And then
That
he did it again.
yeah, real hard, real hard.
Insane.
So the match finishes up when Brian Christopher misses a leg drop from the top rope. Don't remember what he calls it. The Tennessee.
Jam.
That's the one. Misses the Tennessee Jam, allowing Taka to hit the Michinoku driver. Taka
Love.
becomes the first ever light heavyweight champion. Love to see it.
I love that.
I more contenders, more contenders, more contenders. I love
I
the light
love
heavyweight
Taka.
division. Love me some cruiserweights over in WCW. Give me something. Let's go.
I know. I wish they had also like workshopped a different name. And I feel like we talked about this for light heavyweights. Like, I love the name cruiserweights. Like, I think that
Yes.
is fierce. I feel like we could have workshopped maybe something a little bit more interesting than
N-
light heavyweight. But
Right, right,
I
right.
would have even taken diet heavyweight. Like, that's
Not
kind of
diet
funny.
heavyweight. Get out of here.
But well, they have to, be under 215 pounds. Like, I don't know. Like,
Uh,
I think that there could have been something more interesting. I hate the name light heavyweights. I don't know why it just bothers me, but I love Taka. I think this is fierce. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy to know like a piece of trivia where it's like who was the very first
mm-hmm.
like champion of the light heavyweight division. I think
Love
that's
it.
awesome.
Love to see it. Well, now you know. And now we
It,
learned something today.
love that.
So that takes us into our next match. They were kind of quick with this one. They said, no stories, pay-per-views.
A
We got,
period.
so we're, it's Los Boricos taking on the Disciples of the Apocalypse. Los Boricos come out rapping. Who knew?
Yeah, no time for a video package, but we'll let them walk out sing a la the Little Stooges from the original Nation of Domination.
No, it was crazy. I was like, what is this? And then they, all one point, were all like, they were all rapping like and it wasn't together,
They were
and then it
rapping
wasn't with the
in
music either, and then like they were in four different corners, so like these men can't do all that. Like they're wrestlers. Like what?
Why did we do this?
100%.
I didn't want it. I didn't need it. Didn't like it the first time we did it. I didn't like it when Jessie J sang. I don't like it when anybody does it.
No, I do not like them, Sam. I am, and that's
I'm so
foreshadowing.
sorry. Unless you're
So
the unless you're the foreshadowing.
thank you. Savio gets ejected from the match like pretty much immediately, which I mean, like, I'm not gonna say racist, but it felt a little racist.
I guess. I mean, I guess
Everybody else's manager gets to just hang out here all day long.
it's
All...
very true.
No, but I'm kidding. I get it.
No,
get
but
it.
I guess
There's like
it's because like
800
Crush,
participants anyway.
right? And I guess because like Crush isn't there and injured, and he's like the leader.
Right. It feel very off balance of a match.
But like, I don't know. I don't know. It's messy. It's messy, and it doesn't stop him in the slightest from coming back anyway.
Notes I have. His pants could not be closer to the nip. Oh, yeah, that was one of the members of Los Boricuas. They were really up there.
They need a restructure of the look. They just can't nail it. I feel really bad, but every single iteration I've just been like
something's
still not
amiss.
it. Yeah, something
amiss.
is wrong.
The crowd treated us to a shave your back chant. Poor guy. Still can't tell 8-Ball and Skull apart.
And we never will.
So yeah, no, literally.
At least now we know which one is Chains.
Yo, honestly, there's only one left.
Chains,
the one with hair.
You've survived. You are the chosen long hair possessor of the DOA. Congratulations.
Congratulations. What will you do? And he's just
with all this
like,
power.
I'm going to Disney World.
I'm getting extensions.
Oh, so crazy. So it seems like Miguel hurts himself jumping off of the top rope for a maneuver. He really plays it up. He's hooting and hollering.
I believed him.
He's Peter Griffiting himself on the floor outside of the ring.
He got me.
No, fully. They even like played it back, and King's like, "There's the moment he hurt himself," and I was like, "Oh, I believed it." I was out here getting squeamish, thinking this man hurt himself. Savio runs down and like tries to like help his team. He's like, "Yo, like homie's down. Can I like come in here?" The referee's like, "Not how that works."
Not how that works.
But that was really cute. So he's like trying to deal with that whole situation. And then chaos is ensuing when Miguel just jumps back in the ring, does a somersault leg drop, and then grabs the other member of those Boricuas and just tosses him on, and then they pick up the victory. And I was like, oh, honestly, you got me with the finish of the match. I really thought he was out here hurt himself.
I did too, but
I for selling like a mother.
I really was like, I was gonna ask you. I was like, is he really injured? Because he is Emmy nominated over here. Like he was selling me a song,
right?
But what gagged me was, as to add insult to injury, instead of just pinning him or like knocking him out or whatever, he said, let me do this little flippy do so you can really see how springy the knee is. Like really see how bad I've been faking it.
No, 100%.
It was like,
I want you to know you got God.
You got God. Mm-hmm. It was incredible. It was like
well played. It was honestly very well played. I really appreciate it.
I believed it. They got me.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it. So like love to see that. That as a fan, love to see it.
Love. And that little flip I would have been so embarrassed. Got me with that little flip after I thought you were injured.
So
I gotta take
crazy.
my bike and go right home.
No, 100%. And let me tell you something that made me want to go home was the hard cut to Butterbean for this next interview.
I'm so sorry, but I literally just wrote, "Whoa, jump scare."
Jump scare.
No, but
And it wasn't his fault.
no,
I'm not even
absolutely
trying to
not.
be like it's because the way this man. No, it is
This close.
Yes, thank you. If you're not watching, there was no space between this man. I could see his pores, and it's 1997. You know what I mean?
Like HD doesn't exist yet.
I shouldn't be able to do that. So like
Mm-mm,
you're
mm-mm.
too close.
I could
Um,
taste his sweat in my mouth.
back up. And then just the way that they did it, and then they like back him up, just like there was no way you like now that you have to do this to make him not look chode you did this wrong. Like you did it wrong.
You did him so dirty. And here's my thing is like he's not a wrestler. So this isn't like his gig where he has to like shoot this way. Like
Right.
so you really set him up for
For
failure.
failure.
He said we're gonna get the really tight shot. And like he was kind of standing like he wasn't even because
No,
again,
it
this
was
isn't
like
his thing. He's
it was
not
like an
cheating
almost like a
out
profile. Like he was like
like posing for the dollar bill. Like
no,
I
felt very coin like.
I said, is that a nickel?
It just might be, ma'am. It just might be.
If you put a wig on him, you would have I wouldn't have been able to spot the difference.
That's crazy.
And that is not fair. Butterbean, that is not your fault.
It's not
They
your
did
fault.
him so wrong
They
for
did
that.
you
Who
dirty.
even interviewed? I don't even remember who interviewed him because I was so
Was it
taken
Doc?
aback.
Because Michael
It
Cole
probably
was with
was.
Sable.
As he would be.
Mm.
But also his coaches, Butterbean's like coaches or managers or whatever, are literally dressed like it's the 4th of July in like 1776. Like they are so hype.
They
to be
stuck
wearing
a
the
stick of
American
dynamite down the Patriots' throat and just like let him explode onto them. That was their outfit. Like it's great. Like I haven't seen the Patriot. I haven't heard about him.
That's his music.
And then all of a sudden, later on tonight they do. But I'm just saying, like, it just feels like it was just flags, nothing but flags, flags this, flags that. I'm like, I don't know where the Patriot went, but I think they used him for this costume.
They literally used all the fabric of his genetic makeup to make two.
100%. So crazy. Sorry, Del Wilkes.
I'm sorry, Dell. But honestly, though, we ain't seen him in a minute, and I knew that was happening. They used all the fabric he ever purchased.
No, 100%.
Noticed
Just miles and miles of American flag.
I said I didn't know Uncle Sam was gonna be here today. I would have been dressed more
Shoot.
appropriately.
He said, "I choose you." That's correct.
I want you so bad.
Oh, amen.
Crazy town.
So, so crazy. So Butterbean's interviews followed up with a like the montage of like how we got here with just the non-incident of Butterbean like I guess
Non-incident.
using his eyes
It's so
to
true.
see Sable. So
Using one of his 5 senses to perceive somebody.
Right. And so Mark Miro was like, whoa,
Whoa, cut the track. Cut the
I don't
tape.
like this bitch, but you can't like this bitch.
I have to not like her more.
No, and I was like, that's the way he's like simultaneously like, don't look at my woman, but also like fuck her is crazy. I just
He's
don't
like, don't look at my woman, and then Disable, he's like, don't look at anything ever.
honestly
Blind yourself.
no crazy. No, like crazy.
Literally insane. I don't it's like also I just don't understand these types of things because to me it's like if you're really that mad, leave her at home. Stop bringing her out here. Like, not that I want that to happen, but it's like the logic doesn't ever equate for me, which is, I guess, the gag because
that's
it's
pro
so
wrestling.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know if you're that upset. Like, don't make her your manager.
No,
like,
100%. And we do get like what is an I guess would be an actual incident is at the fight last night that I don't know why I'm putting it into like quotes. Like it was a legitimate
You,
like fight.
you were
I'm
like
like
the
the fight
fight,
last night.
the actual
The
fight that took
actual
place.
fight in all of my pretend fighting that we're discussing right now.
Our show
One
about
the
pretend
one
fighting.
legitimate fight, I go, right.
They fought. Okay.
Crazy. That Sable was holding up the title belt like after the match. She was like the belt girl. And
Okay.
yeah, I know, I get it. But I
Somebody's got
get
to get a check around here, Mark.
yo, honestly, you were wrestling for months
Hello?
injured. No, but he's marvelous now. He's no longer the wild man for everybody
Right.
at home. So anyway, so Sable's being asked about like she's like, Michael Cole's like, so you were like holding up that title belt over there. So like, does that mean you're like with Butterbean? Like, what's the tea? And like, and she's like, no, like obviously, like I have to be with Mark, and she's like, "Oh, marvelous, Mark." Because you know you gotta get that name correct. And that's when the prima donna herself hears her name and comes storming in
Girl.
and is like, "Did I give you permission to do this interview? Like, this is my moment. This is about me. What are you doing making it about you?" And like all this nonsense, and you're like, okay. Okay, go off. Sure. Sure, sis.
It's so insane to me because first of all, like, what's Michael asked the question. She's
No,
answering she's team you. What is
right,
the problem?
right.
What, because she used her vocal cords?
Crazy.
Okay. Again, then why is she here?
Right,
Leave her at home and put the TV on. She can watch you and root
right,
for you at home. What are we doing? And I get it. This is the gag, and it's working. Obviously, I'm worked up about this. I hate it. Not that I
right,
hate it, but it's like it's obviously has an effect
right,
because
right, right.
I'm Levite. I'm Levita Loca. Like
I get it.
I
I
don't
get
like
it
it.
because it's just like, shut up.
It's so stupid. And who did Mark put her in this outfit? I was so enraged by
Go
this
ahead, go off,
outfit.
sis.
He must have put her in it to like hide her body. It must be some sort of gag. And if Netflix wanted to post the other Raws, maybe I would know. But she's in like a satin, like it's supposed to mimic, I guess, his robe, but it's like a boxy shirt version that goes like right to her, like right where her legs like really start, but it just looks like a box. Like she looks, and she's a beautiful woman, and it's not about like her body or whatever, but she just like looks uncomfortable in it. She looks bad in it, and she's so beautiful. And I was like, you put her in this boxy, nasty t-shirt thing.
Mm.
I know she wouldn't have chosen this. I know she wouldn't have chosen this. She's in normally in leopard cat suits with a whip.
Right,
And we put her in the satin boxy tee.
right. Mm.
Absolutely heinous. And someone better answer for this.
Mm. I
For
love
this
that.
crime. I don't like it.
I love that. I love that. So let's get into the match. So this is a tough man contest. Again, part boxing match. I want to say like 70% boxing match with like
30%.
30% of the drama of a pro wrestling match.
I would
Uh,
agree.
yeah, like so first of all, Mark Miro holds up a sign that just says Sable who?
He
Holds it up.
he
Holds it
takes
up.
a sign from a crowd member, which by the way, filth. Just Sable who, and holds it up for the whole, gets in the ring with it. And I was like, that is your wife.
Right.
That is
Crazy.
your wife and your manager. Sable who? Again, if we're really dissing Sable, leave her at home then. I like
I
Sable
get it.
who?
I get it. My next
Whack.
note just says Butterbean Dewey. Um,
Wet.
both of
He
them are 31, which leads me to my next to that, which is like both of them could not look further from 31 in different ways.
correct. Yes. Oh yeah. They like 31 is here and they went
Right. Right, right, right. Like they both look older than 31, but like Butterbean looks like, based on the sweater, that
Mm,
like he came of
mm.
age during the time of like, sorry, because I can't think of a better show, like the Cosby Show. Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I said this when we saw him. It's a Cosby sweater, but we
Right.
obviously don't want to bring up that nasty. But you can't
Right.
refute. You can't refute what it is.
Right.
Like
You know what I mean? Like that's where he like aged. And like Mark Miro, like I don't know, looks like he's just like seen some shit recently. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how
it's
he's
recent,
aged.
yes. Like his God forbid, like his father like recently passed, and he's
Right.
like
He's in the
it's
beginning of
the
his like
trauma, the
yeah, his
grief.
like Spider-Man arc or whatever.
Yes, it's like because Butterbean is from Alabama or Arkansas. I think Alabama, Roll Tide.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know where Mark Miro is from. Is it New York? I don't
Maybe.
remember. But it's like he's a Butterbean is an Alabama 31 and Mark Miro is like a New York 31,
Got it.
respectfully. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like geography will affect you.
Correct.
Also, I want to point out someone had a sign, and I think this has got to be top five signs for me is who booked this. That is
So
hysterical.
so funny.
Anytime this guy didn't agree with a match, he would just hold up this big sign that just said, "Who booked this?
Who did
Who
this?
who put this out here for me to see?"
And you
Because
know, like it was, and it wasn't every match. It wasn't just like
no,
no, it was only the ones
I only saw
you
it
really
twice.
felt like he needed somebody to know.
And it was the two that at one point my attention, I felt it lull for a second. And then I
Mm.
saw the who booked this and I was like, sir, me too.
We're back, and we're
I
back.
love that. That is really funny.
So funny.
Who booked
Um,
this?
Butterbean almost knocked out Miro in the first round. Very funny. So there's four rounds to this little ordeal. There's like 2 minute rounds. Um, as soon as the first round ends, they're going to like their separate corners so they can $1 million baby, you know, their existence. Miro just like punches Butterbean in the back of his black head. It was crazy. It
Can
was
I?
a good one.
I don't want to disrespect Butterbean and what he's about and who he is, but he looks like the Baron Harkonnen from Dune.
Dude, I know. It's like really could
I'm
have
so
slipped into that
sorry.
one.
He
Really
really
could have slipped into
they
that
really needed
one.
to recruit him for the role. I mean,
Maybe it was based off him. How you don't know.
I mean, I he seems like a very wonderful person, very nice man, very talented man. But
Right.
if that is not Harkonnen DNA, I don't
I don't
know.
know what is.
We need to recheck the test.
I
I'm
don't
not
know what
sure.
is. It's crazy. And that the attacking after the bell really seems to be uh Marco's Mark
Marco.
Miro's MO. Not Marco, that's
Not
crazy.
Marco. Who's
Um,
that?
who dat? Mark Miro starts choking Butterbean with the tape for the boxing gloves, which is crazy because like to garrote someone with like
He
boxing gloves on is really impressive.
It actually is. I don't know how he managed it. He like hooked it in the thumb, maybe. Like I'm
Hmm.
unsure, but it was impressive, I will say, because I have no idea how he did it.
No, honestly. Mark Miro, of course, after this round gets a drop kick after the bell. Bean gets pissed, starts knocking people over. He's like, oh, like big mad about knocking his own people over. I just knew because I just saw flags everywhere. Um, so I was like, oh, he's mad. He's big upset. Um, someone on commentary described Mark Miro fighting Butterbean as him trying to climb Butterbean's north slope, which is insane. Like,
And I was like, it's the implication that there's a south slope for me.
no, 100%. Like,
The north slope?
crazy.
Then someone
Uh,
get out the cartography, the
no,
map,
no,
because I'm
100%. This
trying to see.
because I'm unwell. It's fine. Um,
The north slope, what does that mean?
mistakes were made. That's what that means. So then after the third round, Butterbean really like wakes up, really starts kicking Mark Miro's ass like throughout the third round. And then after the bell ring, he grabs the he basically knocks out Mark Miro at the end of the third round. There's supposed to be like a count, but the round ends before Mark Miro can get counted out. So then you hear Butterbean in his $1 million baby corner. He's like, "Give me the spit bucket," and you're like, "Ew, are we gonna get a slopping part two?" And we do.
We
He
do
just
the sloppening.
the sloppening, part two, provided to you by Butterbean, drops the spit bucket all over Mark Miro. Big splash.
You
Yeah, gross.
very nasty.
Um, uh, then we get the fourth round starts, and it looks like Butterbean's just gonna absolutely wreck Mark Miro's shit part two. We get a low blow, a just gratuitous use of the stool, and of a literal stool, literal
Gratuitous use of stool, like on the police report.
crazy. Um, and which forces the disqualification, so Butterbean wins by disqualification. Crazy.
Sure.
Sure. Sure.
I'm
Sure.
sorry. I'm sorry. It was like it wasn't bad, but I was also like, what are we doing?
No, yeah.
What are we like? I really enjoyed watching it. Like I thought it was interesting, but and all that mess about Sable to not have her involved literally at all.
I know.
And like I guess that's the way it should be, but
No.
I was like, you made yes, like you interviewed him about her, Butterbean about Sable before the match, and
Mark
then
Mero
like you
interrupts her.
Sable, like you interview Sable, interrupting her, she's team, Marvelous Mark. And then she's like not even like
The
mentioned,
reason you
looked
get
at on the
disqualified. Like,
camera, literally nothing. Like she's not even present in this match. Very
right.
confusing.
Very confusing, very weird. Don't agree.
Sure.
All right. So this one comes out of left field.
I was not expecting this in the slightest.
Nobody should have been expecting this. I think if this was on your bingo card, we gotta talk. We gotta talk about some lottery numbers.
Lottery numbers,
We gotta
scratch
talk.
offs, Atlantic City, Vegas.
100%. So the artist formerly known as Goldust comes out with Luna Vachon in some very distinct pink numbers. I don't even know how else I would be like I can't describe it as fantastically as it was presented.
I couldn't
But
either.
that's just because I just don't know if there are
Words
yet
in the
for
English
it.
language. It's got to be one of those. There have to be words like the word like petrichor and sonder, like one of those like weirdly really long but specific words that describe
Right.
things. I just
Mhm.
don't know what that word is.
Yes.
But
And we
shocking.
absolutely. And then we were greeted with what Goldust described as a little ditty he wrote, which is actually just a resuscitation of Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Um, but if that story was told by um a stereotypically gay man and the guy who's gonna beat him up. Like it's kind of it's kind of how it felt.
It's absolutely, dare I say, it gives like the what you would call the stereotypical like music theater gay versus the kid who's on the football team who isn't gay says things like no homo,
Right.
but it is very much homo.
Right. No one cares if you had socks on, dude. It's still gay.
Boop! All right. And all
So-
right.
So it was just the strangest reading I think I've ever been witness to. He goes back and forth between the voices where I'm like, we're really in it, like really in it. And I'm like, is he really gonna do like the whole
Oh,
thing?
book.
And I was like, that's a choice. And then Luna, after having brought him out here to do this, just shoves him to the ground, and makes like calls him scum, and then he says like thank you in like thinly veiled like dominatrix references. So we're just like, what are we doing? Like
It was
he's wearing like a
extremely
collar
strange.
being carried out like on like a chain. Like it was
Yeah, like he had, because also his ankles were chained together, and he had, which I will say, I am dying to own a pair of these shoes, and I will someday, mark my words. Those like heels with the like the furry
mm.
strap in the front, like very
Oh, like Legally
Barbie,
Blonde.
legally blonde, yes.
Yes.
Um, and he had on like a gorgeous, like pink, like sparkly pinky purple lip, like I don't, okay. The costumes are interesting, like, because this is my first time seeing them. Like, I've never seen them. And as far as like my first time seeing them, as far as their first appearance together in a pay-per-view, like, very strange, very underwhelming, didn't tell me anything about who they are. Like, I'm really sorry. Like,
Hmm.
I. I think going really far in the extremes of like the costuming is okay. Like you're telling the story of like maybe he's like mentally ill, but also like why are we I don't know. Like there's something about it I want to like and don't. And
My thing is like the Goldust character was already like kind of dancing that like weird androgynous line.
yes, and I liked that.
Right. And this just feels like being shocking for the sake of being shocking.
Yes, it feels 100. I 100% agree. It feels out of character. It feels not authentic, and it feels like when it. Here's why I don't like it, and maybe this is me being too PC about it, and like I acknowledge that this is 2025 versus 1997 or
Hmm.
98. I I just think it's like, oh, I'm mentally ill now, so now I'm like even gayer than ever. Like,
Right.
I don't like the correlation of like, now I'm gonna be like really homoerotic because I'm losing my mind.
Right.
Instead of like, I'm free from my wife, so now I can have a free expression of myself. Like, there, that's different. This feels
Right.
just like I'm being like homoerotic, kinky, dominatrix BDSM just for whatever. Like there doesn't feel like a real reason to me.
Right.
And I
And
even
then
liked better the weird writing on the back of the I would take that with the
right.
black face paint over whatever this is. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it gets weirder. So
I can imagine it does, but as
well,
far as like what they're showing, a showing in the pay-per-view, like I just didn't do
green
it for
eggs and
me.
ham, like crazy.
Girl, green eggs and ham, at least then wear green. Like I don't know. There's just it just was a miss for me.
Yeah, honestly. But you know what's never a miss?
Elodie.
Elodie, the Legion of Doom.
And that's right.
Absolutely. And we are treated to a classic promo from the two.
A
We get
really
the
good one.
we get the replay. We do get filled in on how the New Age Outlaws stole the titles. We know that they have been kind of running amok on the tag team division for the last couple of weeks since their like inception. And then Road Warrior Hawk just treats us to just a a promo where he likens the New Age Outlaws to a booger. That's just a little too hard to get. But then you get it and you roll it up and you flick it.
And
Uh
instead of saying what a rush,
yeah,
he says what a booger.
so good.
And I love that. I love what I love about his promos is that he's so specific because he said a small flaky booger up high in the back of my right nostril, and both my pinky finger and nail are too short to scratch it out.
All
But
right.
I work at it and I needle at it, and then I finally get it. And like he just does this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
the right nostril. Said
Right.
no, not left. Right. That's my good nostril, and I don't like when debris is up there. I cannot reach. what a booger.
So good.
Fierce.
So good. I love it. I think
Even
it's
the
so
animal
funny.
did so amazing.
Yeah, so good.
Love.
So that takes us into our tag team championship match. The New Age Outlaws are defending against the Legion of Doom. I love this the New Age Outlaws intro. This is the first time we're hearing it. They finally have an intro. They haven't had really one
I'm
up,
gonna say it.
up to this point.
I loved it.
It's
I
great.
thought it was so like
And it's
I loved
iconic because
it.
like it gets played like so often and they do eventually get so over like with the crowd that like it you hear it and like the crowd responds like, oh, you didn't know, and then
Oh,
like
you didn't know?
the whole like yeah, and the whole like your ass better call somebody is great. Like it's so good.
I am obsessed with this. I actually I know that I was really hard on them. We all know it. We all know
Hmm.
it. And I love to be wrong. I've said that many times. This was so great.
I
Their
agree.
entrance, they feel very cohesive now. Like the presence is there. They feel so confident. Double
Hmm.
Road Dog, fierce
Right.
on that mic. He's the only that's why I said he came out with a mic and he was the only one I didn't care came out with a mic.
Right. Because
Like loved it.
because he didn't try to sing. He's not making him sing anymore. Like, just talk shit. Just talk
He's being
shit.
silly. It
He
was
just
like a
comes out.
shoot.
He comes out. He's like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and
This was so
he's
funny.
like, "We're gonna be your tour guys," and these two dusty ass people in the ring are the exhibit. Like,
The
and you're like,
dinosaurs, don't
yeah,
feed them. What you're
right. No
not going to
one.
see is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, however.
No, 100%. I thought that it was great. I thought it was
Amazing.
hilarious. I was like, "Go off, Kings. Love to see
Loved
it."
it. Because it's funny, I never until you put it in my head, I know LOD's been around forever, but they never wrestle like old to me. Like they don't read older wrestlers to me because they're
Right.
just so good. So when he put that idea in my head, I was like, "Oh, that's actually really funny." Like
Hmm.
to say that it's the dinosaur match, like I love
Yeah.
that. I think
So
that's
so
so
good.
good.
Love Billy's cutoff, little crop top moment. Good for him.
Amazing.
Love to see it. Elodie's kicking ass in the beginning. Love absolutely ruling the match. Billy dropped on the ring steps. That looked brutal, not gonna lie.
Brutal.
At one point they get so fed up with the match that they're just like, no, we're good. Like, actually, I'm good on that. I've had my fill. So they're like, we're gonna leave. Of course, the Legion of Doom does not care for that decision. Um, I have a note that just says the cooler low blow combo. Crazy. They're fighting on the outside of the ring. They have. Is it Animal? It's Animal.
It's always animal.
Billy low blows, or no, sorry, Road Dogg low blows him while Billy Gunn grabs a cooler from under the ring and simultaneously like whacks him on the back. I mean, the cooler is styrofoam, but the cans inside are not.
Or not.
So, um, we love to see it.
Hmm.
So this whole thing. I have a note that says not Road Dogg doing the worm into the pin. That tickled
I
Kelsey. That was crazy.
that is so crazy because it kind of gives the same energy as Dude Love doing the whatever that is.
Uh-huh.
Except that is so it adds insult to injury and it works with his character. I hate to say it. That worm, I was at first I was mad, then
It
it
was
was
good.
funny. I circled back around to mad again. Like it just made me feel so many things, but
I get it.
imagine again, you got walloped. You're in a pinning predicament and this man wiggles on over to you with the worm.
Right.
I would be outraged. I would be
Absolutely.
livid.
No, absolutely outraged. Mm-mm.
That's it's so funny.
I agree. 100%. So the match ends with some chaos, of course, from the uh well, it's actually not even the New Age Outlaws. I mean, they create the chaos with the referee, but that allows for Henry Godwin to come in with his
Henry
bucket,
Godwin.
bash Hawk in the face, and then Hawk gets big pissed, grabs the bucket, starts swinging it around so that the referee sees it, and that gets the Legion of Doom disqualified.
Oh, Hawk.
He got big man,
Oh, the Godwins.
big man.
I'm so sick of that bucket, girl.
So sick of that
I
bucket.
don't want to see that bucket again.
Yeah,
And
that or
I surely will. And I
Mm-hmm.
hate that for me.
No, 100%. You can take it and your Confederate flag somewhere else, please, and thank you.
Ugh.
Um, So that takes us into our next match, which is going to be Triple H taking on Sergeant Slaughter. And we get a lovely little promo on Sergeant Slaughter and the Cobra Clutch. So that if you just know Sergeant Slaughter as the commissioner, and you don't know anything about him, you gotta get the rundown. You gotta know you learn very quickly the kind of badass he kind of is. And
Yeah.
you really learn throughout this match because this man be taking bumps.
He I was
Taking bumps.
flabbergasted, floored. This was a great match. He took bumps, girl.
Right. Love to see it.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely great. So that was good at setting up Sergeant Slaughter's like, hey, like it's very much that song, that like country song where it's like I might not be as good as I once was, but I can be as good once as I ever was, like one of those kind of situations. Um uh,
Okay.
so
Pulled that
uh,
right out of your sleeve. I love that.
no, thank you, thank you. But that takes us into a interview with Triple H and China, and this was hilarious.
Oh,
Triple H out here with the prop comedy is like, oh well, I got this survival kit like for boot camp. Don't you fret. He starts like he pulls out a comb with no teeth. He's like, oh, like this one's got
it
your
had
comb
teeth
covered.
just on the sides
Right.
to do like
The
because
whiskers on the edge. So crazy. Um he pulls out depends, prunes.
runes to
Crazy.
loosen the old man up. Metamucil.
Metamucil's
I
crazy.
would this was so funny because also I what I love about it is that it was in an actual army duffel bag.
Right.
Like he was legit going to boot camp, and it's that attention to detail
That I
that
love.
turns me
I
out. And that's
absolutely
how you
love.
do prop comedy.
And
Thank you.
100% like
So funny.
it's just like this is DX. Like this chicanery.
This silly
Um
goose behavior, this
right.
gaggle of silly geese.
Right. And they're just like letting them do this on television, which is hilarious. Basically the promo ends. First of all, just a note from Kelsey and I. Triple H looked really good, really, really
God,
good. His hair looked really good. His outfit looked really good. His butt looked really good in his outfit.
my
So
God,
good
he
for
looked
him. Just
gorgeous.
saying.
And I do want to say this is the first time I've seen him in an outfit that wasn't the Hunter Hearst Helmsley like gigantic velvet coat.
And
Because at
like
first I was like, what
ruffles
is it
and
about him? My
whatnot. Yeah.
God. And I was like, oh, because I don't see him in those weird velvet, crushed velvet tights. Like, this
Right.
is, I
Love
get
that.
it. I remember like years ago, there was someone I worked with who posted like an old picture of Triple H or something. It was like, oh my God, like when I was growing up, I thought I was going to marry Triple H. And I was like, really? Like, Triple H? Like,
Mm.
now I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and I just want to say too, I don't know what shampoo conditioner combo they had in the locker room today, or maybe it's the hotel they're staying at. Everyone's hair looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Silky, shiny, smooth. It's like suddenly they all figured out how to use a blow dryer instead of doing the
I'm
air
telling you, they
dry.
they finally hired someone. I'm
They
telling you.
they must have because literally even Jim Cornette is interviewing someone later, and I was like, even this man, his
Right.
hair looks
Got
fabulous.
dolled up.
Hold up. There was
Uh,
some that God Triple H looked
hmm
gorgeous.
Love to see it.
Yes.
So we get the classic X marks the spot, and then he's like, maybe after the match, I'll go over to your old lady and she can handle the peace pipe or whatever
She can
he.
smoke take a hit off the peace pipe or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Not the
Wow.
peace pipe.
Wow. What a guy. Absolute insanity. Great, great, kind of classic Sergeant Slaughter promo. You get your come to fights, your maggots, called them a puke, all that good stuff. The Sergeant Slaughter comes out with the Patriots music, which is not not what I was expecting. Which leads me to also believe that they just blew up the Patriot, and now
I think you're right.
they're just using him for spare parts.
I think
Um,
you're right. And also it's so funny because it's like as if they paid like a good amount of money for this intro music and I'm like, we gotta use this wherever we got to.
every dollar.
Every dollar counts. Waste
Oh,
not, want not.
it's crazy. Um, so crazy. Then we get a little recap of like Sergeant Slaughter debuted in 1972. He comes out with his classic like whip riding crop thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sergeant Slaughter kicking ass in the beginning.
Kicking ass. Unexpected.
Like for
Delightful.
like a solid, this was like a 20-minute match, and for a solid, I want to say like 7 or 8 in the beginning. It was all Slaughter.
Slotty.
Um, Slaughter gets launched over the top rope though, and onto the steps. That was crazy. That's when I was like, oh, he's taking bumps today. He's oh,
Bumpalina Marie.
I was like, because he got launched over the top rope, over the
Like
corner, onto the
hit the
stairs, onto the
sternum.
floor.
Oh my God. It was so crazy. And it's not even the first time he gets thrown out over the top rope. It's
No.
so crazy.
No, bonkers. Triple H cracks the timekeeper. Oh, that was
This,
crazy.
wait, this
The
was so
little
funny
tug
though.
of war with the I was like, sir, let it go.
Let go.
I was
This man
like,
was holding onto that bell for dear life. And I was like, we know how this ends.
for your
They're not
safety,
paying you
let that
enough.
shit go.
Let it go, Elsa. They'll
Let
get
it
another bell.
no, 100%. Like they'll give it back to you. Relax. There's only
Just let him.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
He
crazy.
fought for his life for that bell.
I, and what of it?
And what of it? What it got you was knocked out cold on the floor.
No, 100%. Looking a mess. Looking a mess with a camera in your face. Congrats.
But then he's laying passed out and they're zooming in on him. And I don't know why I'm like this, but I just go, it's a nice tie.
Fully. I was like on that corpse.
I know, yeah, that dead body. Beautiful tie.
Beautiful tie.
That's
Um, my next note, Slaughter really out here taking bumps.
what I said.
That's what I'm saying. Cobra clutch gets attempted the first time China gets involved. China then knocks out the ref with just a cold right hand. That shit was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Grabs a steel chair, gives it to Hunter. And then it looks like China's gonna go like address Sergeant Slaughter one more time, and he comes at her with a plume of baby powder. He just goes,
I'm to
and he's
lose
just
my
like,
breath.
no, 100. I was like, that's so, no, literally. And like
Mm.
crazy.
Where did
So
he get it from? That's no one is out there for him. No one has a little bag. No, like, where did he
crazy.
pull it? That's what's getting me is like, and it was a lot of powder.
Yo, for
A
real.
lot.
100%.
Don't know how that
Triple
happened.
H follows up that with a literally taking off his boot and booting Sergeant Slaughter in the head.
Wild.
Craziness. Sergeant Slaughter comes to grabs the Cobra clutch on Triple H one more time. China kicks Slaughter just so like she was punting in the Super Bowl. She was just going for gold.
The noise
And
it made when he got kicked in the, because he got kicked in the nuts,
right.
like in the
Yeah.
jewels.
And then JR says our favorite line of the evening, referencing the halls of Montezuma.
He go, Sergeant Slaughter gets kicked in the sack, and it was, you heard it. It sounded brutal.
Mhm.
And JR is like apoplectic and he goes, you want to talk about the halls of Montezuma?
I
And
was
we
like,
were
who
like,
was talking about that? Who the fuck?
crying, laughing. And then I was like, what is that? And so I looked it up and it is the military theme. It is the theme song of the military, I guess. But
The military,
I,
the Marines?
the Marines, I guess.
I was like, the whole
The
military?
whole military, the whole bunch, the whole gaggle. But I even recognize it. It's kind of a banger. But I was like, who,
Wow.
who was talking? We were like, but we were laughing so hard we kept having to go back because we kept missing how the match actually
No,
ended. So we had
literally
to hear the halls of Montezuma 3 times. It was
crazy.
so You want to talk about the Halls of Montezuma?
I was like, I guess we do.
The way I'm gonna use that for no reason.
Right.
Like
For
mid
nobody to
conversation. Yeah. Well, you want to talk about the Halls of Montezuma.
They'd be like, no one said that, bitch.
Like everyone's gonna be like, the what? Because at first I was thinking it was like the curse of Montezuma. I was like, because he got kicked so hard and then that's he's gonna shit himself.
Very, very different. I
But
don't know.
if you want to talk about the Halls of Montezuma, you let me know.
Pop off.
That is so funny.
Triple H hits a pedigree on Sergeant Slaughter on a steel chair, picks up the victory. Crazy. Crazy.
It was a great match.
Great.
A great match.
Triple H looked great at the end of it. Sergeant Slaughter took those bumps, which, at that point in his career, you're really just putting over people. So,
yeah.
to see it.
And I think that it establishes him more as a force as the commissioner. Because now
he's going to get in there.
Now he's going to get in there, and people know he's capable of getting in there, because if you didn't know who he was, you're like, who is this man? Like, I don't understand. Right. And like, obviously you know the name Sergeant Slaughter, but like it's a nice reminder to see what he's capable of, and you take him. I feel like you'll take him more seriously.
Right. Maybe not DX, I mean me. But I mean, yeah.
Never DX, but they're still gonna act like he's spitting on me every time, which is funny every time. But
no, 100%. I'm also like a little annoyed that we missed the episode where they wear the helmets with the windshield wipers when talking to Sergeant Slaughter, because that's so funny.
Netflix, you owe me an apology.
Right, 100%.
You owe me an apology for this.
Thank you.
This is outrageous.
From all wrestling fans, we're just trying to learn. We have a new wrestling fan here, and we have holes in their education now, Netflix.
And
do you feel good about this? You have it. You have the episodes. Just put them on.
Just put them on. And I was like, is it because it's like pushing the boundaries? It's like not like kosher for the girl. Bridgerton is on Netflix. Let's be real here. Like, let's all have a come to Jesus moment. Like,
like 8 stories on the Menendez brothers, which like involves murder and incest, and like we're just like, it's fine.
But we can't watch the Attitude Era.
Give me my episodes, Netflix.
Give me my episodes, Netflix. You owe me an apology written, and my subscription that I paid for should be free. Like, I'm livid. Like. And again, it's iconic moments. Like when, we didn't get the episode where The Rock starts calling himself The Rock. Like, we didn't even get to see that. You're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy.
Crazy.
Netflix, get it together. Get it together.
Speaking of needing to get it together also, our good friend Jeff Jarrett has returned from the WCW with a bad case of the Delulu. So he's out here just wearing like an outfit I only assume could be popular in like Arizona. Is just like like
Arizona's like, oh. Okay.
Listen, you guys really like turquoise or like cerulean. Your shades of blue is basically what I was going for.
It's crazy because I was really at war with myself. Like, I could not decide if I hated it or loved it, and I verbally expressed it to Xavier, and he goes, oh, we hate it.
No,
and I was like, oh, okay.
No, we hate it. You look.
He was like, no, awful. And it's funny because like I really didn't, but I also did. I don't know. It just, there's something about it that was just a no from me. That this is the outfit you come back in.
Well, for me, it just gave very like the Rockers' old outfit, or like
it gave Flash Gordon without the pomp and circumstance, and that's what I need.
Right. Like this Evil Knievel's is not doing dick. You know what I mean?
He's like, jumping over a mud hole as opposed to like the across the gorge.
Right. And there's not like nary an alligator in there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's not even a moat. Like there's a safety net.
So basically like he's come back to like he's gonna bury the Undertaker, like sure. He wants a title shot. He feels he deserves one, and then we get to like the actual match, and we're like his like intro like line is just like there's all these other stars, but there's only one, Jeff Jarrett, and you're like ugh! Like, and it's literally just him like like doing the voiceover because like you couldn't get another motherfucker to do it for you. Like it was crazy. It
When he
was
said
just
there's only one Jeff Jarrett, I said, and thank God. Imagine there was more of you.
crazy.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry, but you're so right. The delusion coming in thinking you're gonna bury the Undertaker when literally the one time they did bury him, it took a whole team. They buried him and he came back to life.
Right.
And you're in that space cowboy outfit or doing what?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
right.
They had to develop a character out of the creative petri dish just to contend with the Undertaker, and you come in here and
Right.
say, "No, I got it."
Right. Boo.
Give me a
No
break.
one believes you. And the thing is, like,
No.
again, like I like Jeff Jarrett fine. Like I think he's a fine wrestler. I think like probably a little underrated in terms of like how long of a career he's actually had.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, all that great stuff. But bro really is high on his own supply. And it's just the match was fine. It was good.
It was
But
fine.
the only thing
Undertaker's the star.
right. Oh, and it was made very obvious by the no reaction he got when he came out. And I was just like, that's rough.
It's been a minute since that's happened, and I forgot how crazy it is. Like when it's
Because
not,
it's so deafening.
oh my God. Like when I tell you crickets, not even like a courtesy clap for most people. They were like, I don't care in the
Mhm.
slightest.
Right, which
Not
is
even
unfortunate.
boos. Worse.
Right.
Indifference, what do you say all the time? Like
Is a
indifference is a career
career.
killer.
Mm-hmm.
You're like bad
So
news.
yeah, so we like get through the match and we're like, okay, cool. And then the lights go out and I'm like, yes.
Thank God.
Yes,
Save
this
us,
is gonna
Daddy
get
Kane.
saved. Absolutely. Of course, the lights go out, they go red, we hit that organ. We got Kane and Paul coming down, doing the absolute most, looking fierce.
JR goes, there's Kane and that hideous ball
And
bearer.
I love that. I love that because like Kane is like supposedly the like disfigured one from like the fire, and the hideous one is Paul Bear.
And
Where's the
where
lie?
is the lie? Hello.
So good. So good. Um, so Jarrett's like, "Oh, go ahead, do it, do the thing, get in your brother's face, go to town." He's like, starts tugging on like Kane's arm, and Kane's like, "Who the hell are you? Don't tell me what to do."
Hmm.
It felt very like in Drake and Josh, where he's like, "Have a nice day." He's like, "Don't tell me what to
I love that is like my
do."
favorite scene in television ever because it's just
It's
who is
perfect,
that? He's just a delivery man.
right? He's like,
Iconic one liner.
He's like, don't tell me what to
Don't tell me what to do.
do. So good. So then Kane, for all of Jeff Jarrett's efforts, chokeslams Jeff Jarrett, thus giving Jeff Jarrett the disqualification victory, but who cares? So then Kane and The Undertaker have a face-off. Drama, as you know. And then Kane slaps The Undertaker right in the mush. Right in the mush. And we're like, oh, here we go. And then The Undertaker, is like really fighting that good fight internally. You can see it on his face. Kane hits that pyro and leaves. And you're like,
Fierce.
bet.
Fierce. He comes out, chokeslams, what's his face? Jeff Jarrett,
Yeah,
slaps his brother, lights off the fire, and says, bye, girls.
right.
See
Really
ya.
proving that he is that girl.
He is that girl.
I know.
I mean, because what was the point of like he just went out there and slapped the Undertaker and
Right.
then said, and
Yeah.
what?
It's like, and your move.
And
Right.
the fact that also he set off the fire before he left,
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
For the
Love that.
drama. For
He
the
said
drama.
slap, slap, fire, fire, walk, walk, by.
Crazy.
Obsessed.
Love to see it. Jeff Jarrett, of course, being the weasel that he is, attacks The Undertaker after the match. Doesn't last very long before The
Boo.
Undertaker seemed like he was gonna like absolutely like just like one arm this man like through the mat. Kind of trips a little bit. So it was kind of a little bit of an awkward one, but hey, can't have them all.
Yeah.
Um, so Jeff Jarrett makes the referee raise his hand not once but twice. because he's really, really proud of that victory. We get a little crowd interview with Mark Henry. Hey, boo, miss you.
Oh my
Um,
God, I miss him.
yeah, they were basically they were trying to have him promote whatever like one of the sponsors for the show
Milton
is,
Bradley.
and he forgot everybody that he was supposed to mention. The kid that was standing next to him, whose name he was definitely supposed to know.
He goes, "There's
And
this kid." Yeah.
and then the people upstairs, because he named one of them and couldn't name any of the other executives. So like, oops, I feel like you gave the task to the
The
most
wrong.
inexperienced one.
Yes.
So there's that, which is, not necessarily on Mark, but hey, here we are.
It was
He
really funny,
rough.
actually.
Yeah, it was yeah, and then he was asked when he was coming back, and he's like, in like a week or so. And I'm like, okay. What?
He is so funny. He was like, "Yeah, I'm sitting here with this kid and yeah, the upper echelon of Milton Bradley." He literally said the upper echelon. He is so
I
me.
know.
He
So
was like, the upper echelon of Milton Bradley got me
so
here.
good.
The coolest, best people ever." And Michael Cole immediately goes, "Okay, so yes, thank you so much to our sponsors at Milton Bradley, the karate fighters, blah blah blah." Like,
Right.
and then he
So
goes, "Yeah, I'll
crazy.
see y'all in a week or two." I
So
love Mark
fun.
Henry.
Such a guy.
So
Um,
funny.
so then that takes us into our semi-main event, which is the Intercontinental Championship match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. We get a promo setting up the two. I love this. This is really our first um crossing of the paths of these two. The Rock has been getting under Stone Cold Steve Austin's skin when he has stolen his Intercontinental Championship belt right from underneath the rattlesnake's nose during a match. And has just been
Hmm.
wearing it around, um, uh, proclaiming himself to be the Intercontinental Champion. Classic heel behavior.
Hmm.
Um, the promo's great. Favorite line out of the whole thing is when Stone Cold Steve Austin says to The Rock, you're gonna look down at your beeper and it's gonna say 316 and you're gonna know that that ass belongs to Stone Cold. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Me next.
That's amazing. I would
But
love that bat signal.
would
Absolutely.
love that bad signal. But I'm just saying this is what I'm talking about. Like we missed it because there's this they show the clip of The Rock standing in the center of the ring. He has the belt and his beeper goes off and he looks at it and like has that shock
Hmm.
and Stone Cold attacks him from behind.
Hmm.
That is so good.
I
And
know.
the very first time I said to Xavier, I was like, even I know this. Like the clip of him when he comes out in the truck and drinks the 6 pack of beers
Hmm.
on the car. Like,
Hello.
why is that not on Netflix? Y'all really need to get it together. I'm so annoyed by this.
No, honestly.
I don't
Honestly,
deserve this.
Netflix get it together. Netflix get it together.
Swear.
Um, Basically, we get an interview with The Rock. And essentially The Rock's like whole character is like he's also delusional, but he's such a talker that it's just like that he believes his delusions. You know what I mean? Like you can't help but believe it a little bit because he's definitely just gobbling up whatever he's cooking. You know what I
It's
mean?
it's my favorite type of villain.
Right. He's like, I
Where they
believe I am
really
correct. Yeah.
yes.
So Austin drives out in the Austin 316 pickup truck. Love to see it. Part two. Absolutely gets mugged by the nation. D'Lo gets back body dropped onto the truck hood,
Hello.
and then followed up with a stunner. Poor D'Lo, always taking
He's
them
always
big
taking those
bumps.
hits. Yeah.
But the nation's still getting involved. Absolute chaos. We have a miscue between the nation, which sees Kama hitting Farouk with a steel chair. And then that allows for Stone Cold to throw Kama into the truck. Crazy.
Kama gets thrown into that truck so hard the mirror folds in.
Right.
So
So
funny.
good. And then the match. It's this is not my favorite match between the two, obviously. But again, this is the first time they're like touching.
Yeah.
So like this is just a little preview for things to come. The next 2 years are going to be absolutely not at least the next 2 years, more realistically, four, are going to be dominated by these two people.
Big
So
fan. My only complaint was that it was too short.
I
Like
agree.
I wish it was longer, but that's it. I mean, I was like, you brought that car all the way out here and it's like the
Hmm.
shortest match of the night.
No, fully,
But
fully, fully,
again,
fully.
like Xavier said, we have plenty more where this came from.
Right. We get a like a people's elbow miss. Again, just pointing out things that will be that The Rock is kind of adding to his
Repertoire.
repertoire that will like become just synonymous with him. Austin accidentally stuns the referee.
Which is
The
so
Ro-
he like legit pins him and everything, and he's like, wait, what?
he's
Like
like
he
wrong
really had no
dude.
idea. So
Right.
funny.
The Rock goes for the brass knuckles. Before he gets a chance to use it, gets stunned for real. A new ref shows up like magic. 1, 2, 3. Austin picks up the victory.
That ref really wanted to be on Stone Cold's good side.
Right.
He ran out there on
Ran.
a mission, and sometimes we have the ref down for 5 whole minutes and nobody comes out.
That's what I'm saying.
And this man was like sprinting
Right.
around the car, dove into the ring.
Trying to get in their good graces.
He's like, it's the end of the year and I want my holiday bonus.
No. Amen.
Amen. And I respect the hustle.
No, I get it. I fully understand.
Real recognize real.
So yeah, more of that. I agree with Kelsey that it was not a long enough match, but there's more coming. There's more. So that's going to take us into our main event, which is Ken Shamrock challenging Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. We get a Ken Shamrock promo. It's a Ken Shamrock promo. I don't know. It wasn't very good. I'm not going to go too far into it. It was
Nope.
just kind of felt like someone reading off of index cards.
It was mid.
Yeah. But what wasn't mid though was that uh epic choir into club remix.
It's been
Of
a
a
minute.
promo. Absolutely. It's been a minute since we got to get down
Hit
and
the
dirty
club.
quite like that. Because there's nothing like just absolute like it's just like epic, like this choir, literally like 8-part harmonies. You're like, okay, get it, cool, cool. And then dance mix, and you're like, fuck, that's so good. And it's all the while it's just like to people like tapping out to Ken Shamrock, and you're like, this is crazy.
But the thing is, and I think we talked about this the last time it happened, but the way Xavier and I will be taking notes and the dance comes on and
stop.
we just go,
No, because it doesn't matter what's
you
happening.
have to.
It doesn't
But then we're
matter what's
literally
happening.
like, oh my God, that pin was so crazy. Like,
Right. No.
while we're like gyrating, like shucking and jiving, like,
No, absolutely. Listen, we are who we are.
as
Not gonna
Kesha
change.
said.
Absolutely. She taught us well.
Hmm.
Raised by mama. We get a little recap of the little bit from DX where Shawn Michaels is like, "Oh, Ken Shamrock, you only have like one move, and luckily for me, I've been training in the gym with Hunter and China." And then and then Hunter just is sitting in front of Shawn while Shawn's sitting in like a wheelchair for some reason, and it's like, "Why don't we show them what we've been working on?" And just starts like twisting the boot like all like
Like it's not on his
360.
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
So
funny. And
it's
like
so
Shawn
funny.
is like clutching China's hand, like he's
Oh
giving birth, girl.
no,
And
fully like
China is
white
like,
knuckling, like so
oh
good.
my God, it's so funny. I normally do not abide by tomfoolery. It's like one of my least favorite things, but this
Pretty
is
good.
tasteful tomfoolery I enjoy.
Love it. Love to
This
love
is
it.
really so funny and so creative and just love. I would love to know whose idea that was because that's hysterical.
It's probably those two, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna guess Triple H, but
Yeah, it seems like just hammy enough to come out of his mind. But then we get a Shawn Michaels promo. JR kind of asks him, I don't even know. But it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Because HBK comes out and immediately just goes, I'll tell you something, you fat tub of goo, and you're like, Jesus Christ, man.
The
Like,
question was like, how can you not respect Ken Shamrock? And he goes, I do respect Ken Shamrock, you fat tub of goo.
and you're like, oh God, this is crazy. The gist of the promo is like, I'm the number one. I'm the number one guy in this company, which means I'm the number one guy in the industry. Like, no one's got it like Shawn Michaels, blah, 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 blah. The match itself, great. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it was exactly how you would expect it to be. Lots of interference from DX, literally every second that the referee was not present. Um, some member of DX was getting their hands on Ken Shamrock. Shawn was being annoying as he does, kind of just
Mm,
trying to piss Ken Shamrock off. Why you're trying to do that, I don't know.
mm,
Um, Ken swings on Triple H. China throws him into the ring post. It's essentially 3-on-1 the entire match.
mm-hmm.
Ken hit the ropes crazy at one point. Shawn
Yes.
Michaels just like tosses him, and I guess he didn't like turn
Hit
around in
high
time.
enough.
Like you're supposed to turn around so like your back hits it. And like I guess he just didn't. So like his neck, like it literally. I know we reference Million Dollar Baby a lot in the boxing match, but like it literally like his neck like $1 million babied over the top rope. Like it looked
But
scary.
then it like went under. Like
Ugh.
it like oh, it just looked bad. It was almost like he went to like hit the ropes like the middle rope like here or I don't know, but he hit like here and then his head like got like
Yeah.
flicked through. I don't know. It was so bad. I wanted to go back and watch it again because I was like, I definitely don't think that was supposed to happen.
Yeah. No, that was weird and scary. Not gonna lie.
Very weird and scary, and you guys know I don't like anything with that neck.
Oh. Oh.
No.
No, absolutely insane. Um. He follows up that weird crazy neck move with like a sit down power bomb, which was insane.
Very.
Um he eventually hits the belly to belly, gets into the ankle lock, and of course DX immediately attacks, forcing the disqualification. So Ken Shamrock is the winner of the match, doesn't win the title. Shawn Michaels still holds on to it. The best part about this, though, is post match, we see the return of Owen Hart. He done knocks Shawn Michaels off of the ring apron, through the Spanish announce table, throws himself from the ring apron onto Shawn Michaels, onto the Spanish announce table, and just starts walloping on his face. And
Wailing
like
on him.
really looked like he was punching him in the face
And I'm sure he was.
and then proceeds to like escape through the crowd, like jumping on the two oldest people that were in the crowd, and we know because they were sitting behind the commentary team the entire time, so they were like front and center for
They
every
were
moment of
so
that. But
cute.
like Owen trampled them on the
Ran them over. When I tell you, it was like a Wolverine attack. Like, I didn't even understand what happened at first. I was
yeah,
like, what? We had to go back and watch it again because I like didn't understand. And then like the way, not only the way, the velocity of which he threw Shawn, the way he threw himself, like a rabid dog. Crazy.
crazy,
And
crazy.
amen and period. I
Mm.
loved it. Love to see that boy.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. So
I
that's
love
where
him.
the pay-per-view leaves us, guys. That's where we're at. So the next episode should be the following honestly, I don't know. I'll have to see.
We
Stay
have to
tuned.
look.
Who
It's
knows
so
what Netflix has
confusing now.
provided with us. So,
Netflix,
stay
you're on my
tuned.
list, girl.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll watch the next thing chronologically that we have available to us, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, wherever you find us. Much appreciated. For Kelsey, I am Xavier. This has been another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.